What is going on, people? Once again, another one of these boxes. If you saw the previous video, you know what I mean when I say that. So we're just going to skip all that stuff and we're just going to go ahead and get right into this thing, right? So there's a piece of tape to cut here, and there should be two more on the top end area, right? So how's everybody doing out there? I often ask, I start the video asking people how they're doing for the most part. Rarely ever get any answers though. But if you're watching this and you're hearing that, go ahead and leave a reply to that down below in the comment section. And let me know what's going on out there with you people, right? I do get curious. So here we go. Got the box out, and it's a Presto box, right? You can kind of tell that, and if you can't, there's a side of the box for you. So this is one that I had seen, and I thought to myself, I kind of like that, right? And then I saw that they were in stock when I was buying those other shoes, and so I just bought them too, right? Kind of an impulse buy, because already in like click mode, like just buying things. So I don't know, we'll see. But looking at them now, taking them out of the box and all that stuff, real quick. In the side of this, on the inside of this box, you see that there? That's the sizing chart. I'm gonna need to make sure I get a good picture there, picture of that in there in the video, so that way people can just see what the sizing chart looks like for themselves and stop asking me like, oh, what size do I get? It's like, so anyways, moving on. Looking at these here, things are looking like they're fine, so I guess that means we can go ahead and just get started into talking about them and knock out a review. I do want to check one thing because I didn't look and see what the name of this colorway is. University Gold and Hyper Crimson. That is not at all what would come to mind just looking at this thing. So we're just going to skip over that. And we're going to say that this is just your standard Nike Air Presto, and we're going to knock out this review. And of course, we're going to start this one with the bottom, talking about the outsole and all that good stuff. Down there, what you're seeing, you got a little bit of blue, got a little bit of black. Well, I guess you have more blue than black, but you know what I'm saying. Standard stuff, right, for a Presto. Moving on to the midsole, though. More standard stuff for a Presto anyways. You got the standard white sole that you see on most of them. On the outside, you do have that orange swoosh. Orange swoosh is also on the insole there, inside as well. So there's that for you. And then you got these dots back here to signify that they're part of the Alpha project. Somebody had mentioned that to me before in a comment. I can't remember who it was. If I can find the comment, I'll definitely put that on the screen. So there's that for you. Now, moving on to the upper, right? Around the very end of the toe box area here, you do have that standard little plastic style that you have on a lot of shoes of this style, right? And then past that, though, you got the standard Presto mesh knitted thing, whatever you want to call this. And in this particular case, it's a very nice gradient effect. I'm a huge fan of the gradient effect. It's one of the things that just kind of grabs my attention. I also like bright colors, so that's kind of why I have these shoes, right? I don't know if there was any sort of hype behind them, probably not, because it's just a Presto, but whatever. So moving on, let's get a good shot of these so you guys can actually see what these are all about, since I'm not sitting too close with the camera. Now, you do have a stitched on swoosh at the very end of the toe box here, or top of the toe box, whatever, in a little bit of orange, and then you have that same orange making up the stitching that's just above it, right, kind of holding the shoe together and whatnot. But basically it goes from yellow to an orange to kind of like a reddish color. You got some purple in there, different shades of purple or different levels of it, whatever you call the different things. So you got that going on. Looks pretty decent, at least in my opinion. That's why I bought it. And then that all wraps up at the very top with this little P logo, right? So there's that for you. You can barely see that P in there, but it's in there. And of course, much like the last pair of shoes, you got some standard white laces. On the side here, holding these laces together, you do have a cage. It's kind of like an opaque sort of bluish sort of color going on there. Not quite sure how to describe that, but that's why there are pictures in the video, so that way you can look at the pictures and you can say, oh yeah, that color is totally whatever. Right? So there's that. Moving around to the back though, back of that little cage thing, you do have a very blurry kind of air going on in there. You kind of got to really know that it's there or something, or at least look closely to see what that is. And then on the inside, you do have Presto kind of indented in there, right? So that pretty much makes up the whole outside of the shoe. It's all just this one big old piece, so that makes it easy to talk about. And now moving on and talking about the inside here, you got this big old M in there. That stands for medium, right? Because that's the size that I bought. We'll get into why later. And then the rest of it is just kind of this netted mesh sort of thing. You kind of see what that's looking like there. I'll make sure you get a good picture or two though, just to kind of ease your mind on what it actually looks like. But there we go. We have pretty much covered this whole shoe. I'll hit you with some personal thoughts, which you have probably already gathered by me talking about this. I like these shoes. I'm okay with the money that I spent on them. I just if they were going to be easily accessible on Nike, I would have just waited and probably bought them there. But sometimes you just don't want to take your chances, you know? You're just like, I can just get these now. I have to pay an extra $10 or something, or $15, whatever it was. But less headache, right? And as some people, you could argue like, oh, you just go on resellers and stuff. It's like, no. You people are the problem. So here we go. Let's move on past that. We're going to talk about some sizing, okay? Now, there was a sizing chart in the beginning of this video. For those of you who skipped to the sizing portion of these videos, that's your fault for not seeing it. So, I bought these in the size that makes sense to me. I happen to have a size that isn't at one of the tips or the ends of the shoe spectrum. So, since my size was kind of like close to the middle or whatever, I'm good. Now, I can understand that if you do happen to be at the top or bottom of one of those, you're maybe wondering what size to get. Well, obviously, you should probably just give some thought to like, would you rather have too much room or too little room, right? Yes. So, as far as sizing goes, look at the chart, do what makes sense. Now, once you get past that, once you got that all worked out, right? Comfort-wise, the Prestos are pretty solid. I'm not going to say it's anything amazing that you have to run out and experience right now. It's a little bit of an older shoe. The React Prestos and stuff like that, yeah, those are, I put those definitely higher. But for something older, something lighter, you know, something that you're often going to find pretty cheap, these, it's definitely something worth considering. Now, past that, past the sizing, past the comfort, the other thing I can say is that, like I was kind of getting into before, and if you saw the middle or the inside, they're also very lightweight and breathable. Eventually summer's going to be coming around and these will be a pretty solid summer shoe, right? So there's that for you as well, just something to think about. But otherwise, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about the Presto personally. So we're just going to go ahead and move on past that, start getting this video wrapped up so we can all move on with our day. Now, here's the thing, right? I feel like I probably have some other videos that I need to shoot, so I'm gonna, well, no, I've shot them all. I need to edit. I need to do a lot of editing. Basically a good 5 to 6 videos or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, right? And while I do that, while I'm doing all that stuff, you guys out there, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I have things to tend to. I should also go to the gym too. Well, yeah, I should. We'll see what happens though. I'll figure that out later. For now, again, later people.